In recent news, Hasan has now weighed in on the controversial statement that ultimately led to Asmongold's Twitch ban, and rather than ignoring the situation, he appears to be taking direct aim at what Asmongold said. Here, Hasan's reaction.
Into reality.
Yeah, again, another clear-cut sign of insecurity is leaning into argument of children. And I mean, even in movies, like what hero says we have to murder children? Simply put, only villains say things like that. Only weak people say things like that. A strong man protects the vulnerable, okay? You are the pussy. A strong man protects the vulnerable. A strong man protects the weak. It is weak men who constantly try to harm those who are marginalized, to hurt those who have less than they do. That's it.
Others questioned Hasan's credibility and brought up his own past controversies, with one commenter specifically asking why Hasan doesn't protect his own dog first. The implication was that Hasan shouldn't be talking about protecting vulnerable people, while critics believe he has failed to do so in his own life. That quickly became the main counter-argument from Hasan's critics. Rather than debating whether Asmongold's original statement was right or wrong, they argued that Hasan was being hypocritical for criticizing him. Meanwhile, Hasan's supporters continued to defend his response, creating the usual split between the two communities. Asmongold has given his community a brief update following his recent ban, but instead of explaining exactly what happened, he says something completely unrelated has now taken priority. With questions continuing to pile up in his Discord, one member eventually asked Asmongold directly if there was anything they could tell people in the server about his ban. At first, Asmongold simply replied that he needed to think about it, but shortly afterwards, he returned with a little more information. Asmongold said that he plans to make a video explaining the situation when he can, but revealed that something completely unrelated had happened, which currently requires his full attention. So for now, he isn't giving his community the full explanation they're looking for, but he has confirmed that he intends to address the situation himself. Some people were joking about the mystery surrounding Asmongold's sudden disappearance, while others were more interested in the ban itself. One commenter questioned why Twitch appears to allow certain controversial content while still taking action against Asmongold, directly tagging Twitch executive Dan Clancy. Others went straight for the jokes. One person suggested that Asmongold had been convinced to buy a house, while another joked that Hasan would be reading everything Asmongold says while he's away. Highest Poseidon experiences fast and furious when his Tokyo driver activated nitrous in his car.
Show his reaction, Oh my God, where'd my phone go, dude? My phone disappeared. Holy shit. Dude, that's so fucking loud.
A clip of streamer Atrioc discussing US funding to Israel and the influence of political lobbying groups has sparked a pretty heated debate online. Atrioc argues that, when compared with the size of the overall US budget, the amount of funding being discussed is relatively small. He also claims that a significant portion of that money ultimately goes back into the American economy through military contractors. He then turns his attention to AIPAC, pushing back.
People overestimate how much leverage America truly has in the short term over Israel. In terms of like, everyone's like, pull away their funding. You can pull away their funding, absolutely. But if you actually look at the amount of funding that America gives Israel, first of all, it's pretty small by American budget standards. And secondly, 80% of it actually just goes back to American military contractors. It's actually mostly a jobs program for Raytheon and fucking, like, people think the biggest, most powerful lobbies in America is AIPAC. It's not even close. It's healthcare and military. Healthcare and military are the biggest lobbies. They are 1,000,000 times stronger. They are the ones that control politicians, and that's where the money goes. So most of the money that goes to Israel is actually round-tripped right back to fucking Northrop Grumman and Raytheon and fucking, and all that money is not that much. It's not that much. It literally, if you have $1 trillion military budget, it's like fucking 3 to 20 billion somewhere in there.
Some people agreed with Atrioc's broader point, arguing that AIPAC's influence is often exaggerated and that the healthcare and defense industries have enormous lobbying power in Washington. Others felt the clip would simply reinforce the views of the more left-leaning members of his audience. There was also pushback against the discussion itself, with some users arguing that criticism of Israel or AIPAC can quickly become mixed with conspiracy theories about Israel controlling the US government. One commenter specifically argued that AIPAC is an American lobbying organization rather than an arm of the Israeli government. At the same time, another commenter took a much more hostile position, accusing critics of Israel of using opposition to military aid as a cover for anti-Semitism. So rather than there being any real consensus, the discussion ended up splitting into several different arguments, with people debating the scale of US aid, the influence of AIPAC, the power of the defense and healthcare industries, and where legitimate criticism crosses into conspiracy theories or anti-Semitism. So does Chatter has a question for Canute.
One of the best rap songs
This is the
ever
most insane paragraph. What? Okay, they said ask Canute. Okay, I don't know if I'm about to say something. Okay, read this, Canute. Look at that.
Was it thought of the young black woman found here?
Do you know anything about that? Okay, so this schizo said, ask Canute what his thoughts are on the young black woman they found hanging from a tree behind an abandoned house in Mississippi, making headlines.
Other than that, it sounds horrible.
It sounds horrible. What do you want? Ask Canute. What do you want Canute to say about
as an
that?
expert on hanging people on trees.
Was that a first-time chatter?
I don't know.
Nemplol wants to do a stream with Dr. K.
And he wrote this big paragraph about me, and then he goes. And it's funny, he actually got downvoted, which is rare. But it was it was quite interesting. You know, you should do the Dr. K stream. I will. I'll message him. And in fact, Catchy has written a message that I can send to him, because I've decided to no longer message people myself, because even when I'm trying to be nice, it still comes off as bad, and then someone calls me a bum. But it's okay, no big deal. I'm learning. So any message you get from me will probably be from Catchy going forward, if that kind of makes, if it kind of makes sense. You know, you're a child? No, not at all. I'm just from a different creed of folk, you know, who we just keep things a little bit too plain, you know what I'm saying? So
QT Cinderella praises Ludwig's international vision for streamer games after meeting creators from around the world.
I'm so happy that he did international, even though it was a pain in his butt, because like, obviously, I mean, we've hung out with Selbit before, like, you know.
He's so cool.
Dude, Selbit is so great. Like, he's so freaking funny. He's so competitive. But then the moment that you're like, wait, but I actually need help, he like cuts. He's like, okay, you know, and he gives you all these tips. He's like, okay, here you go. Like, you know, like, he's just really, it's just funny. He's just a natural competitor. And so he's like, you know, and I don't know, he's just so kind to everybody that it's just like, he's just so great to be around. Even though he's so competitive, like there was no toxic competitiveness from anybody, you know?
It's like everyone's trying their best, but like they're happy for everyone.
Yeah, and nobody's mad.
Is popular French streamer Beaking cheating? Forsen meets Hasan.
Really now? How many times must I tell you?
Rest in peace!